Right now, the internet is going down more than it used to. So here's the real question. If it stayed dark, everywhere, for 30 days straight, how far would things actually fall? In 1 week this June, monitoring firms counted over 500 outages worldwide, 26% more than the week before. That's not a random spike. The people who track this for a living say outages, both accidental and deliberate, are simply becoming normal. So let's run this properly, not a guess. An hour-by-hour timeline built on things that have already happened for real, somewhere, at some point. Let's start the clock. Hour 1. You tap your card at the coffee shop. The screen just says, declined. Not because you're broke, because the card reader has nothing to talk to. This already happened for real in 2022. When one Canadian carrier's network failed, over 12 million people lost service, and the country's whole debit network went down with it in one afternoon. Now imagine that everywhere at once. Hour 6. You try to call for help and the line just hangs. Emergency call systems now route over the same internet as everything else. It's called Next Generation 911, and it's meant to be an upgrade. But when one carrier's routing center failed for real in 2014, 11 million people across 7 states lost access to emergency calls for up to 6 hours. Over 6,000 calls never reached a dispatcher. That was one carrier for 6 hours. This is every carrier, and the clock keeps running. Day 1. In a hospital near you. A nurse can't pull up a patient's chart. No allergy history, no medication list. Real hospital outages, just hours long, have already cost an average of about $7,500 a minute and led to documented mistakes, mislabeled samples, delayed results, wrong doses. Now multiply that across every connected hospital for 30 days, not 30 minutes. And it's not just paperwork. Some insulin pumps and glucose monitors now talk to an app over a wireless link. Cut that link, and a device built to keep someone alive is, for the first time, partly offline too. Day 2. You go to the bank for cash, and so does everyone else. That's a problem, because most people don't carry much anymore. Cash is down to about 1 in 7 payments today, and roughly a third of people have no emergency funds set aside at all. For years, banking got faster because it went digital. In 2023, one bank's depositors pulled $42 billion out in a single day, entirely online, because withdrawing got that fast and that easy. Now that speed is working against you. You can't move money with a tap. You queue for it, like it's 1985 again. Day 3. The bread shelf at your store is half empty, and nobody stole the bread. Modern stores restock through software. The moment something sells, an order fires automatically. And a truck is already scheduled, usually inside 48 hours. That system needs a live connection to run. Kill it, and the shelves don't get robbed. They just quietly stop refilling. It hits small sellers hardest. In real shutdowns, farmers have lost the ability to even check the day's crop price, let alone sell it. By day 7, the risk moves somewhere heavier, the power grid. Most grids can still run on their own locally, but the systems that watch them, that catch a small fault before it cascades into a blackout, increasingly report home over the same networks that just went dark. It's not a guess that this matters. Attackers who broke into grid control systems in Ukraine in 2015 and again in 2016 used exactly that kind of remote link to trigger real blackouts. Take away remote monitoring for a week, and you're not causing a blackout. You're just flying blind, waiting for one small fault to become a big one. Here's the part nobody puts in these videos. By day 12, something strange shows up in the data. A study that cut people's mobile internet for 2 full weeks on purpose found most of them slept better, focused longer, and reported feeling genuinely calmer by the end. So this isn't a clean story where everything just gets worse and worse. The systems around you are failing, but some of the people inside those systems start to feel a little more like themselves. Day 14, the halfway mark. And here's where the thought experiment runs out of real-world map. The longest confirmed national shutdown on record is Iran. In 2019, 11 days, full blackout at first, fully reconnected by day 11. Egypt went 5 days in 2011, and it cost the economy about $18 million a day. Myanmar's restrictions ran for years and are estimated to have cost the country nearly $3 billion total. Every real shutdown humans have lived through ends before day 14. From here, we're extrapolating. Day 20. Money starts moving in a very old way. Direct trade, no bank in the middle. It's happened before, every time digital and cash both got scarce at once. Widely during the Great Depression, in pockets after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And formal barter trading jumped as much as 35% during the 2008 financial crisis. A small trader with no way to check today's price, no way to take a card, and no way to reorder stock, falls back on the oldest deal there is. I'll trade you this for that. Day 30. The clock stops. And here's the honest twist. A single mistyped line of code once crashed an entire national phone network for 9 hours. Back in 1990, blocking 50 million calls. One tiny bug, one huge failure. So fragility like this is real, but total, simultaneous, worldwide failure isn't really. Around 600 cables under the ocean carry 97% of the traffic between continents. And when one gets cut, usually by a ship's anchor, not a catastrophe, the rest reroute in seconds. There is no single switch anyone could flip to end it all at once. Back to reality. A true 30-day, whole planet blackout isn't really on the table. The network is built with too many backup pads for that. But smaller versions of this clock are already running, right now, more than ever. Last year alone, governments shut down internet access on purpose over 300 times. In more than 50 countries, a record, costing the world's economy almost $20 billion. And in survey after survey, only about 3 in 10 people say they have enough cash set aside to get through a real emergency. Remember hour 1, the declined card, the map going dark? That's not a hypothetical. Somewhere, for someone, that's already this Tuesday. The clock we just walked through isn't a thought experiment. It's already running, quietly, in more places than you'd guess. Not because the whole grid fails at once, because one weak link, one missed patch, one bad password is sometimes all it takes to knock out power for hours, or cut a city off for a week. So the real question was never, what if? It's how ready you'd be for even 3 days of it. Cash in the drawer, a phone number written on paper, not just saved in your contacts. That's not fear. That's just good engineering. I'm Dean Park. See you on the next clock.